Hello, this is just an update, tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play, actually not play, but let's talk about Long War 2 with BlueAnkylo. So just to get this ahead, to get this message out right away at the beginning of the episode here, we're not going to be actually doing an episode on this video. This is a me talking about the state of the series and the game, and probably rambling for a fair bit, so you've been warned. So anyway, I just want to sort of fill you guys in on the what's going on with the series. So I've actually recorded, as of when this video will go live, I've recorded a couple more episodes of Long War 2. I'm up to episode 76 or something like that, whatever. The number doesn't matter. But I've recorded a couple more. The thing is, I'm really not happy with those episodes. Episode 73 was probably the last one you saw, the end of the HQ assault, the third headquarter assault. And, as it turned out, I actually took like a month off after that. I had a pretty good backlog of videos. I had been really enjoying the game, and I was way ahead. This is like, March 20th. As of today, it's April 18th, so it's been almost a month. And I'd taken a bit of a break because I had a lot of videos to post. You know, I have to upload all these things and get them onto the internets for you guys. And that takes a while. And, well, I mean, I don't usually like to talk about it much, but I've had some personal stuff to deal with that hasn't been terribly pleasant. So I've been in a bit of a poor mood, I guess. So I haven't really felt like recording much. I like to do recordings when I'm in like a good, happy, positive mood. I feel the videos are a lot better. So I haven't really felt like recording, and I've spent the last month not really doing any Let's Plays at all. So the videos have just kept coming out because I had a nice long backlog. That's great. No big deal, really. Happens. Let's Players do that all the time, right? But part of the problem there is I'm a little bit rusty, so I haven't played it in a month. The game is hard, and it's a struggle to get back into it. Plus, I'm not as into Long War 2 and XCOM 2 as I was a month ago. I mean, we're at 70-something episodes. Given the length, the average length is probably 40 or 50 minutes by now. We're talking like 60 hours of gameplay footage. So for all you guys that have watched that much, you know, huge huzzah and thank you to all you guys. You're obviously very invested in the series, and I'm quite grateful you guys are sticking around and commenting and just watching or whatever. It's cool. I like that kind of stuff. That's why we Let's Play. But you have to understand that I think by now, like, the vast majority of our initial starters aren't watching anymore. Like, 60 hours of footage is just a huge amount. So you think of all the names we've got here. I would be surprised if more than 10 of the people on this list are still watching. That's my guess. Maybe, yeah, I think around 10's about right. So if 10 people who have names are still watching, I'd be pretty impressed. If any more than that, I'd be surprised. So you just have to understand that a lot of the people have moved on because it's just too many hours of video. And also to keep in mind, because this will be relevant later in my discussion here, if it's 60 hours of footage, it's going to be at least twice as much work, as much time on my end. So I do some gaming off camera when I'm setting stuff up and reading stuff and researching. I have to, you know, process the videos, upload the videos, get them all set up on YouTube. If it's 60 hours of content that you guys watch, it's probably at least 100, 150 on my end. So, like, this has been a huge series already. Like, this is already, like, one of the longer ones on my channel. And we're probably not even halfway done. So, like, there's a long way to go. But anyway, so the crux of my message for today. The last couple... I can load this up, it's fine. I'm just going to reload when I'm done this anyway. I did a couple missions, couple episodes that I'm not sure if I'm actually going to upload. Like, I might just undo them and start again from episode 74 or whatever. Because I was really not happy with how they turned out. Like, on one hand, I probably wasn't playing perfectly. I'm a bit rusty, so I'm making a bit more mistakes than I'm used to. The missions were a little bit unfair, which is part of the game. And, you know, because my mood hasn't been top-notch, I feel like my comment, like, I get, I don't know, not depressed, but, like, I get kind of sullen and sulky a bit, because, like, once a couple soldiers have died, if I'm not in a very good mood, it hits pretty hard. So it's easy to want to reload or scrap it or whatever. It's hard to keep the commentary, you know, positive. The big one was really this one. We could only get to about 88%. It was still very heavy, and it was a 5-day pickup, even at as far as we could go. So I tried this one, like, twice. It's a mission that should have been okay. Like, very heavy's tough, but we had like a pretty good squad and all. It's not like we had a poor squad. Tactical sergeants for the most part, a really good psyop. Like we had a good strong team, and there's no reinforcements or anything. But what kept happening was the enemy would like we'd stock up, we'd sit in a corner or something, like the deployment corner, and we'd kill 2 or 3 pods, and then eventually like 5 pods would activate at once, and it'd be like 20 aliens active all at the same time. And at that point, it's game over. There's no escape. So you can hit evac, then you have to wait for 5 turns to evac. By that 5 turns, you know, if I start with 9, or I think I started with, I can't remember how big the squad is, 8 or 9, I think. It's a big squad. Probably 8. By the time evac arrives, they're mostly dead. Like, I could only ever even get out with 1 or 2. So I think, like, basically, campaign-wise, I probably should just skip this one, because I don't think it's really possible. I haven't had any, like, it's not that we couldn't kill all the enemies, it's just I keep getting a map that's so small that all the enemies activate at the same time, or at least too many of them activate at the same time, so there's no way to get out of it. And because it's so slow to evac, there's no, I mean, you might not get a full squad wipe, but I you know, I could not survive or even escape this mission with half my squad alive. So that was making me kind of, you know, upset. So I wanted to have a bit of an update here, because that's why there's no videos coming out. Like, it's taken, like, I've spent, like, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 or 4 hours recording videos that I'm not really happy with, and I'm probably just going to reload and not do anyway, the way this is going, because you know how the campaign goes. You can't just afford to lose, all, like a loss or 2 here is fine, but you can't really afford to lose too many of your, like, your highest ranked soldiers. Like, if I were to just pick 4 or 5 of these people to just lose, it's not like it's campaign over, but it's a pretty huge setback. And I'd say if you lost, I don't know what the exact number would be, there's no hard and fast, but like if you lost like 12 people, 12 of your highest ranked soldiers at this point in the game, I think it's basically a death knell, that you know, you're not gonna have enough soldiers to do the important missions. You can't replace them really, and eventually you have to skip too many missions, and you fall behind on the campaign. So, like, you know how Long War is. It's pretty easy to have lost the campaign but not know it, and then, like, a couple more months of struggling before you finally realize that it's really game over. I don't want to get into that situation. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit was one of the things that, you know, sort of depresses me when I'm doing these missions is talking about, like, reloading, save scumming. And I know, like, first off, I know a lot of you guys watching, especially the people that have stuck with me, you don't care if I reload, and I really appreciate that. I know there's a good number of viewers that they just want me to have fun, like, it's cool. That's great. But be aware, if you're one of those types of people, that there are a lot of people that get very offended when you reload a game. Like seriously, like, man, go back, look at some of the comments on my XCOM 1 Long War 1 series. Holy smokes. If I even considered reloading a game, there was people who were ready to go, like, nuclear. Anyway, point is, there's a wide variety of people. Some of them get very upset about save scumming, is what they want to call it. My personal opinion has always been, when I'm doing a Let's Play, I really don't like reloading, because I feel it's, well, for one, it's wasting my time. Like, if I'm recording, like, an hour-long episode, and then I just reload it and restart it, I probably just throw that footage away and restart. That's my time down the drain. Doesn't really get anything done. And I do think it cheapens, like, part of the fun part here is that, you know, you guys having your soldiers and being involved in the campaign. I think it cheapens the overall campaign when, where am I trying to go? The, you know what I'm looking for, the screen where everyone's dead, the memorial, there we go. It cheapens the effect of death when I just reload when someone dies. And I really don't like doing that very often, because I think it kind of, you know, I don't like Iron Man mode in very many games, but I do understand that for these types of Let's Plays where you bring in people in, if someone has, like, plot armor where they just get, like, you know, like, the consequences of your actions feel cheaper if you just reload. So, you know, anyway, my point is I don't like to reload very often, but I feel like, depending on the game, and especially these modded games, heavily modded Long War 2, there are going to be situations where your choice is essentially reload and try to either skip a mission or do it better, don't make stupid mistakes, get luckier, you know, something like that. Or don't reload, play Iron Man, and essentially throw your campaign away. because you can't just keep losing soldiers for very long, like I was saying earlier. I don't know what the exact, balance part of the break point is, but like you can't fail too many missions. And really, like, I don't think it's very many. Like, I don't think you could just fail 3 missions in a row with half your squad death on it. I think at that point it's game over. It's just, the game is designed to some degree to allow you to take some losses, but you can't take very many, or else you just can't catch up again. I mean, it looks good, right? Our avatar progress is really low. Everything is, campaign-wise, it feels like we're doing pretty good. We've got, like, 3 places liberated. We're ready to contact more regions. Like, I think it feels better than it is because it's partly to do with the dark events and partly to do with the behind the scenes, the way the enemies upgrade. Every month, the enemies get stronger. And you can't really see it reflected here. It takes a lot longer to be reflected on the campaign map because basically the missions start to become too hard to do if you don't strengthen your guys up. So, you need to be getting better research, weapons, armor. Your soldiers need to level up. You need to keep getting stronger as quickly as you can so that the enemies don't overpower you. And this kind of a race to the end. It's not like I mean, I think if you ever got to 20 points of the avatar progress, you probably should have just quit like hours, like dozens of hours ago. Like, if we were at 19 points, I could just say, yeah, we're about to lose. We might as well quit the campaign. But why didn't I quit like a month ago? Because we had already lost. Like there was no coming back. If you can't do the missions, like. We've got this mission coming up before too much longer, right? If we can't do this, this is going to be worth 1 tick right now, but it'll grow over the months. It'll turn into 2, 3, 4 ticks. If they don't get stopped, those will be moved over to here, and it'll just keep adding up over time. My point is, if you can't do that mission, you'll never get rid of those avatar progress, and once you've got a few of them, it's you're just going to lose eventually. And I guess my point is, like, if you can't do this mission and you're not getting strong enough from other missions, like if you're having a hard time doing these missions, and then you skip a bunch of those, and now you're having a hard time doing these missions, your soldiers are not getting better, and the aliens will just slowly progress until it's you get the game over screen. But I think it'd be better if there was a I don't know if it's better or worse, but it feels like there's a kind of a detachment from your actual progress compared to your displayed progress. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is I'm kind of at the point where the game is getting difficult enough that I either have to play perfectly, and even if I am playing like perfectly, air quote perfectly, there's still going to be times where we lose people, or just missions can't be done, and I think you kind of have to reload those if you want to have success. And like, okay, maybe there are, I'm sure out there in the wild YouTubes, there's probably players that can play through it on impossible Iron Man mode, and they play it in such a way that probably they don't have to worry about reloading because they're just good enough that they beat the game. I'm not saying that's impossible, I'm just saying that that's a very specific type of player, and honestly I'd be kind of suspicious that they're not like off camera, because you can't see everything someone does. You could tweak the INIs off camera, off screen. You guys would very rarely even know about it if I just tweaked a few numbers. You can back up your saves, and if a recording goes poorly, even though it says Iron Man, I'm sure there's a way to reload your save on the computer. I feel like I'm kind of suspicious about anyone who says that Long War II, they can just play it through one time and beat it on Iron Man. I think, it's more like you try it 10 times and one of those you get lucky enough to beat the campaign. Problem is, that's a lot of hours. Like, what are we thinking? If I'm 60 hours in, halfway, I think probably we're talking at least a 100-hour campaign to finish the game. For a successful campaign. I mean, geesh, if you have to try that a few times to get to the end, that's crazy. It's not like, Binding of Isaac or a roguelike where a game's done in 20 minutes or something. You can die all the time, no big deal, because you're only out 20, 30 minutes. In this one, if you just lose 60 hours into the game, holy smokes, that's like, I don't know, man. I don't know how much you guys play video games, but that's a lot of time down the drain. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling about that point, but what I'm trying to get to is, I'm having struggles getting back into Long War II. Like I said, I took a month off. I've come back a little rusty. The campaign is getting harder, and I know that those of you that are watching are very invested into the campaign. But yeah, be aware a lot of people have skipped it. So what am I trying to say? I don't know. I'm not pulling the plug on the campaign as of this moment. I don't want to quit my campaign. If you're familiar with my channel, one of my sort of guiding principles is I almost never cancel a campaign, a Let's Play. I almost always finish the series. I don't like unfinished series on my channel. I don't like them on other people's channels. Like if I go to watch someone playing, pick a game, whatever. You know, if they're playing the new Final Fantasy 15 or something, I'd hate it if I was watching a series halfway through they just quit. Like that would tick me off. So I don't want to be one of those Let's Players. I have done it like once on my channel, and it was just because I couldn't keep playing the game. Totally lost interest. And I really don't want to get to that point with Long War 2. So for now, I'm going to be taking it's a bit of a break. Like, I guess I still want to be posting videos for it, but instead of one a day, we might be going one every 3 or 4 days, because I'm struggling to get really into it, and we're at the point where if I push it too much, I am just going to quit. So like maybe what I'll do is I've got like a side campaign in here, or maybe I'll live stream or something. I can do stuff like that just for sort of casual mode, lower pressure. Like I've got like a couple other campaigns that are on the side a little bit earlier in the series, or a little bit earlier in the game, so they're a little bit easier. Maybe I can sort of refresh my skills a little bit or get into it. I do like the game. Like I've been talking kind of negative about it today. I do really like it. Like, there's a lot of really good mechanics in Long War 2. A lot of aspects I'm totally on board with. And I can handle some of the negative stuff. Like I don't really like the infiltration, but, you know, it's okay. I can take it. Like, not the campaign infiltration mechanic, but the sneaking around stealth mechanic. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't really like the permanent dark events you can't stop. You know, there's a few things that kind of tick me off, but, like, that stuff's okay. That's just, I don't agree with the design. But what is going to kill it for me is if there's too many missions that are just borderline impossible. Like, if I do end up uploading it, you guys will see eventually. I tried to do this mission, and I don't think I made any huge mistakes. It just became impossible to complete. I really don't like that. And I guess that's part of the, like, experience with the game. Maybe I should know that once you're in August, if it says very heavy, you probably shouldn't even bother. Like, maybe you should just know that the aliens are advanced enough at this point in the game with the dark events and the month pathing that this just means it's going to be a mission with, I mean, you can look up how many enemies. There's going to be like 30 or 35 enemies on it probably. Sometimes these missions are just going to be impossible. If it's 5 turns to evac, then there's just no way to get out. You're going to lose soldiers, so don't do them. Like, okay, but then you're not getting supplies and alloys, so what do you do instead? Well, we can do these recover item missions, but they don't give you very much. You know, a couple weapon mods and some intel, a little bit of experience, but they don't really progress you very much. I don't know where I was going, but point is, like, I'm struggling. I'm struggling, guys. Anyway, I didn't want this video to be super long, so I just wanted to talk about the state of it a little bit. I'm going to be slowing down for a little while, and maybe I'll try a couple live streams on a side campaign just for fun, sort of casual stuff. I don't know. Maybe I will just end the series, but I do appreciate feedback, so if you guys leave a comment, I'll be pretty sure to reply to them to talk about what's going on. I do like to chit-chat with you guys. That's one of the reasons we do this. What else to say? I think that's all I wanted to talk about for this video. There's probably something else, but whatever, it's fine. So anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna be taking a bit of a slowdown period here. Worst case scenario, this is the end of Long War, say goodbye. I don't want to do that, but if I'm not having fun, then you know how it is. Best case scenario, we take a bit of a break. I revitalize, get a little bit better, get good, as they always say, and we continue on. I mean, we're so many hours in, I feel real bad just letting it go. I wouldn't say it's likely that I'm going to just cancel it. You know, like too far in to just quit. Sunk time. But yeah, anyway, I basically, like, my problem, and it's not your problem, I'm just explaining it. My problem is I don't know what I'm going to do with those last 2 episodes, because I'm not very happy with them. So I might end up re-recording them. That delays things more, because I'm not... Re-recording is not particularly exciting. But, I'll try to figure that out. Maybe some of you guys have some suggestions in the comments we can talk about. A way of making it more fun. Like, maybe somebody knows some more config, or maybe I'll find some more config edits. Like, maybe if I could just change the evac to just 1 turn like default, then if I do get in a situation, like maybe I can mod Long War 2 a little bit more so I don't get so frustrated. Like, Like, I don't even know if this is possible. It probably is, but I don't know how exactly. But, like, theoretically, right, if I could say evacs are instant again, like XCOM 2 was, right? Then, if I get in a situation that's terrible, I just need to recognize that and escape. And then we can pull out with no permanent losses. Like, maybe a couple of wounds if I'm unlucky or something. But, like, if nobody dies, all I'm missing out on is the mission rewards. That sucks, but you can do that for a lot longer than you can have squad wipes. And with a 5-turn timer, you kind of stuck with a squad wipe in some situations. So maybe I should do that. Maybe there's a way to tweak the difficulty in a way that helps. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but like small maps, they need to be gone. If there's going to be 40 aliens on a map, you know, that last headquarters mission, we got pretty lucky that nobody died, but it was a nice large map. There was lots of room to maneuver. So even though there was tons of aliens on it, generally you weren't fighting 20 at once, other than that, you know, sometimes. I think, like, that's kind of my problem, is, like, these missions in Long War 2, there's a random, like, it's not like RNG with numbers with your percent to hit or anything. There's some random values on enemy pod placement and map size. And if you are unlucky with the size of the map and the density of the aliens or the enemy forces, you're basically just screwed. So if Long War 2 adds significantly more enemies per map, which is one of the main things they do from vanilla, right? There's almost no maps in vanilla that have like more than 20 aliens. That basically never happens. And the same thing with reinforcements dropping in constantly. So Long War 2 gives you way more enemies. That's fun, I like that. But I don't like it when the map is small and you're fighting them all at the same time. Oh yeah, we don't want to do that. That's the terrible mission. But, because, like, you know, your squad size is, I'd say, between 5 and 10 people for most missions. Probably 5 and 8 for most missions. 10 is pretty unlikely, pretty rare in Long War 2. You know, if you're doing a mission with, like, 6 or 7 people, even, you know, well-equipped people with good strategy and all that, there's only so many enemies you can fight at the same time before the odds... I mean, there's no winning scenario. Someone will die. And it's not like the enemies can take losses, it doesn't matter if they die. Every loss you take is a significant setback. I mean, if it's not just that she's my wife, but if Lady Blue dies, we're out an officer. Think about how much time we've gone into leveling her up. She's, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels up, probably getting close to level 6, almost maxed, you know, getting close to max level. Think of all the time we've spent officer training her. Each one of these was 3 or 4 days or something. You know, like, you can't just get that back. That's, like, probably a couple months of gameplay. You know, like, that's just one person dying if you get an unlucky sort of, like what I was, like, saying. Not just the percentages, like, because usually if you're smart, you can lock down most of the enemy shots with suppression and flashes and stuff, and they're only taking, like, 5%, 10% odds if you're playing smart. If you're playing really perfectly, they don't even get a shot off. And you can control that to a point. But, like, if there's, say, 20 enemies active and you've only got 6 people, you just have no way of stopping them from getting shots off or throwing grenades or psionic powers, or, you know, they're going to be able to do something. And if you can't stop them, people are going to die at some point. Like, you can't, you know, even that 20% roll, right? Like, if you gave the enemy, like, a 20% chance to just one-shot somebody, that's going to happen eventually, and every time it happens, you're set back significantly. So, anyway, that's kind of, I don't know, I'm rambling on a bit, but that's what I'm thinking, and I'm just going to take a bit of a break here to think about it and try to figure out where to go from here. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I look forward to some discussion in the comments if you're interested, and hopefully we get this series going again before too long. If not, you know, it was a pleasure. It was an honor to work with you guys. See you.